Welcome. Let's talk about the American man's inability to get help. When I say get help, that also includes applying help. It's not just asking, it's applying too. And as we talk about this today, we need to think about this as an ego structure. That being an American man, and I do mean American, is an ego structure. I say this coming from years of experience working with people in the spiritual path. And from 2010, very consistently, women of all backgrounds across the world, in the English-speaking world that I work within, because that's the language I know, they can ask for help. And men from other cultures can ask for help. I've had plenty of students come to me from Canada, Australia, UK, Ireland, Norway, Finland, and other places. But the area where the fewest men can come and apply help is the United States. And this is a massive problem. And it's a problem that I think it's important for women to understand. And it's a problem for American men to look at themselves, because if you cannot ask for help and you cannot apply for help, then you are going to be very stuck. And that stuckness leads to all sorts of different problems: depression, anxiety, burnout, frustrations, anger, rage, because American men are very, very trapped in the way that they're living, and it's very, very unhealthy. Before going any further, as you all know, I am Jim Tolles. I'm a spiritual teacher. I've been blogging and teaching since 2010. You can see my blog at spiritualawakeningprocess.com. And if you want to connect with me further, I have a free newsletter. The link is down in the description, where you can sign up and stay in touch. I'll share more about classes that I offer, regular communities that I run and build, and one-on-one work. Let me share some of my journey to face this part of myself, because I've had to do this. It's one of the first things you almost have to do if you're a man on the spiritual path, which is to confront this idea of being a man. Be a man. You don't get to be a man. You have to do it. You have to earn it. You have to prove it. This message is very, very clear, and it's taught to us very, very early in life. Be a man. Toughen up. And being a man and toughening up mean you control and can do everything. This is a very, very clear message as well. It's a strange sort of omniscient statement that's being thrown at all of us, that we're just supposed to know how to do everything and be good at everything. But it's very, very clear that that's what's meant by it. We try to live that role. I tried to live that role. And I can tell you what happens is I wasn't exploring life. I was staying to the things I knew best, and I just kept repeating them and getting better at them. And when you get better at them, then society rewards you. Remember, remember that rewards are a powerful trap, a powerful set of attachments. When they throw scholarships at you, as they threw it at me, and they throw money and promotions at you, and you keep getting jobs that pay you even more, right? This is one of the ways that society says we approve of you. Why try anything new where you would lose that approval? Furthermore, why would you try something new where you might lose that sense of identity? Being a man is a deeply held sense of identity. This is not a surface level issue. This is a global core issue. And again, particular to being here in America, where there just seems to be more and more pressure to do and to be more. And that's linked more deeply to being a man. And very clearly along this path, certain things are manly and certain things are not. And it's a very simple rubric of what makes us strong and what is considered weak. And mixed in here is oftentimes for many of you, many of my male friends out there, you are bullied for being weak, emotionally or physically. And what's worse is that is often approved of. It's approved of that to bully the weak one. They become the butt of jokes, they get pushed around, they get beat up, and then blamed because, well, you weren't strong enough. So go do personal self-defense. And of course, being on the other side, the person who's being the bully, they still get to be a man. They're approved of by men and women, right? This isn't just us guys doing it to ourselves alone. There are a lot of women who play into this, like, well, that guy's not a man. I'm looking for a real man. And so when I start doing my inner work and I start to stumble around trying to figure stuff out, I'm having to run up against my own pushback against feeling different emotions, which might make me look weak. Around trying to find help, which would show that I don't know something, which makes me look weak. And that really is a big segment from 2006 to 2010, before I started teaching, as me looking for help, actually. One of the things I hope to offer is to make things a little bit easier on all of you, male, female, and however your gender identity may be. Because I had to do a lot of picking and choosing and finding and failing, which of course is pretty ironic at the same time. At the very time I'm trying to ask for help, I'm actually struggling to find some. And that's a thing that may cause some of you men to stop, to say like, well, I couldn't find any good help. But let's be careful. Your experience and my experience are different. And there's another part of this, is sometimes men will ask for help and then reject it. They can't open to that next level. And that's critical, because you can go to your therapy session and have a great therapist and not tell them what's really going on with you, and they can't help you. So there's now an illusion that you're asking for help, but you won't go that next step. Why? Because now you're vulnerable. And vulnerability is not manly. We are taught this over and over and over again. Vulnerability is not manly. Always be in control. On this path, that doesn't work. This is a breaking down process to break through. This is a breaking down process to break through. And it's messy and it's uncertain. And it's nothing that men are taught to be. And meanwhile, as we avoid help and we don't reach out to others and we don't accept it, we don't apply it, we're getting sicker. Consistently, the number is, as far as suicide goes, while the numbers, I believe, are about equal for men and women trying, men are 4 times likely to succeed. There's a lot of misery going on. And there's a lot of functional misery. Functional misery is how men, women are doing this too, but today's topic, we're talking about the male ego structure. It's important to understand this. They're doing more and more damaging things to their bodies. Alcohol is a great example of one. Because we can't be weak, we can't open up, we can't accept feelings, and that's different for some men. For some men, you're not really allowed to have any experience of feelings. For others, maybe you're allowed to be happy and angry. But invariably, sadness and fear are not allowed in our experience. Very clearly. And so we have to medicate that. We have to learn to ask for help. We have to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And we can't wait until we're so traumatized and so absolutely sick and crazy that we're in desperate mode, because those are the times when the few American men usually are coming to me, is they're in such a state of disrepair and pain and suffering that they're finally willing to open maybe a little. But even then, it's not very much. We have to let go of these ideas about what being a man in this society are, because they're killing us. It's killing us. It makes us sick. It makes us miserable. We are not happy with this. We need to throw out these ideas of what being a man is. We're going to have to develop a very different way of understanding that in society, but the first step is with ourselves. We can't wait for society to catch up. I don't think society is going in a particularly good direction for anybody. We have to ask for help, and we have to receive it and apply it. And then the possibilities for transformation open up to us. We can start to see that we can be with emotions, and other people can too. This is one of the reasons I run a lot of communities. So I'm helping people practice being okay with all these different emotions. We have to find the courage to be with parts of ourselves that we don't understand and don't know how to deal with. And you're going to feel out of control. One of the more common ways that the American man is willing to ask for help is when he feels like he has absolute certainty that some sort of process works, right? So it's not a giving up of control like on this path. And that can work great if like you're studying coding. So you study coding, they have a great process. This is how you learn this, go to this step, go to this step. Men will do that in droves. So that's not the type of real help I'm talking about. I'm talking about that transformative space that knows how to do itself, and that the attempt to control it is essentially an attempt at stopping it. From 2006 to 2010, I was learning about surrender. I was learning about humility, of all the things I didn't understand about myself. And I was fortunate enough to find enough little pockets of help, more often than not, from friends who would just listen. I started to cobble together an understanding, and I started to move through issues, and I started to let go of these resistances to help, resistance to my emotions. And of course, the other side of that is a deeper level of strength, right? Men are supposed to be strong. Well, this is a different kind. This is the strength of vulnerability and openness. This is the strength of love. This is the strength of being with all of my feelings. All of my American friends who are watching, you have this too. But you're going to have to learn how to ask for help. And just know that there are people like me and others out there who can receive you and can help you if you're ready and willing to do the work.